All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pato from RaiseYourWeaponMedia, casting today a little bit of AHGL action between Team Intel as the blue team and Team Amazon as the purple team. And just to fill you guys in, we actually did picks outside of the game and actually just came back here and remade the game simply because in the rules they state you can get first pick but yet still be purple side. So that's what happened. Amazon actually got the first pick when it came down to picks, but they are actually playing on the purple side. So we did the picks real quick, created a new game, and now here we are right now. So to fill you in, the bans were from Amazon. They banned TF, EZ, and Blitz. Intel banned Eve, Shen, and Amumu. And then Amazon first picked Kha'Zix right off the bat. Obviously, very, very strong pick. Looks like Kha'Zix is going to be in the jungle this time. So top lane, we've been seeing him wreck face. He doesn't get quite as much gold from the jungle, but he still gets enough. He can still be a real tear. And I think they really feel confident having a Rayleigh up there. Here's another strong character that will be able to possibly get to this Caitlyn. This is a pretty good pick. Looking at Intel picked up Shyvana, Caitlyn, right off the bat as their first picks, and they went Darius, Nami, and then Pantheon last. Must feel pretty confident about Pantheon in that mid lane against Orianna. We'll have to see how it plays out. A lot of players that are really experienced with Pantheon in the new Season 3 changes. He's very, very effective. Attack damage is a lot cheaper, and so AD casters are a lot more effective, especially in the mid lane, because the thing that a lot of people forget about is AP champions it was very common for them to be in the mid lane and just around, but their ratios for AP casters are a lot lower than AD casters. So AD casters have really, really crazy ratios. Combine the fact, a lot of them are 1.0 or higher, so combine that with the fact that AD is a lot cheaper now, they're really, really effective. And so it opens up a lot of different setups for teams where you can see right here, this is pretty much an all AD team. Really the only person that could throw any AP out there is really Nami. It's AD and true damage coming from Team Intel, where we have the old kind of balanced team setup coming from Amazon on the purple side. So this is actually a really exciting game. Little known fact, I actually work for Amazon currently. So it's kind of exciting to see these guys, but also I have a connection to both teams because Intel was the first ever tournament that Raise Your Weapon casted at. We started casting, started running tournaments for the Pacific Northwest. And they run a tournament called Intel LANfest, which is actually it's around. They actually run a bunch around the country, but it was they have one main one in DuPont, Washington, which is actually at their main Intel campus, which is a lot of fun. It's all for charity. It's really cheap tickets to go there. It's about a 400-person LAN. You get dinner and a bunch of prizes and cool tournaments. We are usually there running tournaments for them. So definitely, if you want to check it out, check out Intel LANfest. Just type it into Google. You should be able to find it and see if there's a tournament near you, because they're a lot of fun, and we're out there a lot running tournaments, having cool prizes for people. And then Amazon, of course. Amazon's awesome. I could be a little bit of a homer here, but what I've heard is I've seen the Amazon team play actually this season. They actually did really well in their first few games, but I hear the Intel team might be the team to beat in the B division. I'm hearing that they're the top dog, so I'm really excited to actually see these two teams go at it. And looking at the picks from the Intel team, it's pretty progressive because right now AD is kind of the in vogue from a lot of comps, and we're seeing AP characters kind of fall off here. So it looks like we're gonna hop right into this game. So there you have it. Intel, the blue team, Amazon, the red team, and they're gonna have a quick start off here. It looks like Nami just lagging a little bit behind. Stone and Orianna do the same. Looks like red team. Looks like the Amazon team is going to be focusing on their top jungle, while blue team's running into their own red jungle, going to protect that probably for Shyvana, or we might see an invade in here. They are pretty quick out on it. They do have the Caitlyn traps. They can protect themselves pretty well if they want to set up a defensive formation. Both teams just don't want to lose a buff at this point. But blue team looks like, yeah, they're going for an invade possibly on blue, which would be a good idea. I like to see a lot of, at least have your support. They can start with that new early ward that you can see here. Both supports actually have it. A good way to utilize that is to actually throw it on your blue on invades like this. And if you throw it on your blue, you can actually just catch to see if there is going to be like a quick invade or something. Looks like Oriana's placing it right here. You can actually see Raise, possibly, when they cross to take that. Good vision. And she can actually use her ball here to check this bush. You can actually check this bush from up here. From this corner, you can throw your ball over this wall and check this bush. That is a really good thing to do when you have an Oriana team, especially whenever I play Oriana. I'm always using the ball to spot, especially early in this game. And we're going to see the delayed invade coming from Intel here. The question is it going to be able to catch anybody? Sona sees it, and it looks like they're going to back off out of this. And I don't think they're actually going to fight this, because Aurelia still is up top. They would not be able to fight a full 5-man invade. Question is, do they delay, come back, and try to stomp them at their blue? I don't think that is going to happen. I think they're just going to run over and really quickly try to help themselves out at red buff. And that is actually a correct move to do. I actually feel it's a really strong way for Intel to go, especially because they are against the Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix really, right now, just wrecks teams. He wrecks teams. Once he gets fed enough, like, he just comes in there. He has the reset on his leap. Think of it like Tristana's leap strike, except for it resets, you know, every time he's killing people. He has huge chunking ability, and we saw team fights actually in the recent league championship series where one team looked like they were really, really good, and then Kha'Zix came in late. And I found that's actually kind of one of the keys with him, is you come in a little bit late, some early nice little harassment from Nami onto Sona there. But I found out the key to him is you just kind of wait him back. He doesn't lead off. He doesn't try to take all the aggro and focus of the enemy team right away. He just picks his moment, and he can come in and he can actually decimate an entire team. So it's almost better for him to hang back a little bit in team fights, and as long as they're not focused on him, you can really take people out. And that is a nice little exchange there from Misfortune onto Kate in that bottom lane. Nunu was up. I almost expected a little bit to see some sort of Nunu play with that Caitlyn, since he was still on the board. Kha'Zix actually lying in wait. Might see a gank on this top lane, but Sona in a lot of trouble right now. Is going to go down to first blood, and Darius very, very close, but Ignite is not going to tick enough. And it looks like Nami actually picking up a kill onto Misfortune as well. So that's a double kill for Intel in that bottom lane. That's going to be really, really big for them, especially if they're able to push this in. Because if they're able to push that in, that's almost a little bit of a wave. And I'm sorry about that one. That one, it's okay. We have the magical power of going back, and it looks like, yeah, we have Shyvana coming in here, baiting out the face check into the brush, and really, really nice play by Intel so far. Very, very heads up. And good support for an early gank, because the other problem too is, I mean, I don't blame Kha'Zix, because him going in there was a smart decision. You know, him going up top and going for a gank, because he was, he did have to get his red buff. He lost his blue buff. He didn't want to have to invade. He knows he's behind. If he pulls off a gank, it'd actually be really big for not only his top lane, but also him trying to catch back up, because now he's going to naturally be behind because he lost one of his buffs. Uh-oh, Oriana a little bit of trouble here. And there's the flash after trying to get great shield in response. It's not going to be enough, though, to kill him. And so, actually, nice little exchange there. Heads up by Oriana, almost pulling off a kill there. That was actually really, really close. Pantheon thought he had it. Got really, really aggressive. Wasn't quite able to pull it off. Shift some people around. So a quick 3-0 start for the Intel team. They have to be pretty happy with how this is going so far. A little bit of advantage in top lane and bottom lane. Luckily, Aurelia is a champion that actually can come back and do pretty well. But it's always really scary to deal with the Darius that's ahead. His ability to just chunk out any champion on your team really, really quickly becomes very, very paramount with a lead. He can still play from behind as well, but when he has a lead, that gets really, really scary. But Aurelia can actually deal with this, and if she gets fed up enough, she will be a terror as well for her team. And her job, as we get farther into this game, is just going to be able to try to get in and deal with this Caitlyn, who right now we've been seeing a lot of her come back. Originally, you know, a lot of people didn't like her in team fights, but the fact that she has that 650 base attack range makes her very, very effective, not only in the laning phase and poking phase and trades, but also when you get later in the game, just staying out of reach. And this is really what we've seen, just kind of the trend in general, is Misfortune Caitlyn, seeing a lot of them in the League Championship Series. Misfortune, really, really great in lane. Like, she used to be played primarily because you would have a big lead in lane. Although Bullet Time wasn't quite as effective. Bullet Time, I believe, got some buffs over time, and that is a great little stun by Nami. Exhaust coming on the Caitlyn, trying to back her off. Shyvana coming in here, gonna try dealing a little bit of extra damage onto Orion, probably gonna get it, and they will get that. A kill in mid, so now a kill in pretty much every lane except for the jungler hasn't been picked up yet. So Intel firing on all cylinders early here. Again, one of the favorite teams so far in the HGL B League. And you can see why right here. They know how to. They've been trading very, very well in a lot of circumstances. And looking at the CS, Caitlyn, yes, very, very healthy. Starting to stack up a lead. Onto Misfortune right now, 24 to 41. That's pretty healthy. Kha'Zix coming in there, going to try to seal the deal here, but Grand Skyfall covering the retreat, pulled in by Darius. Darius has put a lot of damage onto him, and there's not enough mana quite onto Pantheon to possibly finish off, but he's just going to finish off with auto attack. Doesn't even need help. But that is the thing you have to be mindful of, especially when you are against champions like Pantheon, Twisted Fate, Karthus. Those champions, you just have to have that mental note when you're playing. If we decide to do anything after it hits that time of the game where they're 6 in mid lane, we have to expect them to come. We have to expect that damage inputted into whatever we do. Kha'Zix got a little bit too greedy there. Darius did a good job keeping his cool till he got to his turret, sucking him in, putting a lot of damage onto him, and Pantheon just able to finish it off. Looking so far just across the board, very, very solid mechanics, and just having that advantage. Those kills, a lot of that CS that we see, advantage that we see, is partly because of the kills in lane, and really just mechanics of how it's going down. And looking across, most members at 2K gold, Caitlyn at 3K already. That's a pretty big early game lead. She's already about 1.5K gold ahead of her opponent, Misfortune, in the bottom lane. And that's going to be really, really tough for Misfortune to deal with. So it looks like they're trying to dial up something to come in on her, but it's not going to happen. Lots of good warding going on in this bottom lane. And I don't think there's going to be an opening for that. Plus, Shyvana's there to back it up if need be, throw in her damage, get him out of dodge. Lots of Crystalline Flasks on the board. That is actually going to be changed. So Crystalline Flasks has been discovered to be too good, and so a lot of the changes that are coming for it in the future, it's going to be about 100 gold more expensive. Right now it's about 225 gold, I believe, somewhere around there. And the problem with it is it's too efficient, because people just buy Crystalline Flask and a bunch of health pots. They can buy wards and health pots. A lot of mids we see starting with it as well. We see Orianna actually started it, rocked it, as well as Pantheon. It's very, very common, and since it's free health potions that you get back when you go back to base. Plus you get mana out of it. So what they're doing is they're actually buffing it, so it's going to actually heal you a little bit more, give you a little bit more mana. It's going to take longer. I believe it's over 12 seconds instead of 10 seconds. And but it's going to be 100 gold more expensive, so it's going to be a little bit harder of a decision overall than just, oh yeah, buy this item because it's way too good. It kind of reminds me of how way back in the day in beta, how Catalyst used to be. It used to heal too much. It was way too cost effective. Every champion would start it. Even champions that didn't have mana, like Garen. When Garen, people would start Catalyst just as a joke. I mean, partly as a troll, but it was legit because you would get such a big heal out of it that you could start Catalyst. It didn't matter. So Crystalline Flask getting the nerf bat a little bit here, so we should see that change slightly. I imagine it's still going to be a starting item. It'll just be a little bit more restrictive now if you decide to go that as your first item. Kha'Zix trying to catch up in the jungle, but one thing we know from Shyvana, she is one of the best jungle farmers in the game. 2K for Kha'Zix. So he's about 400 and 500 gold behind. He's not doing too bad. I'm sure Amazon right now just really wants to get on the board with something, try to make something happen. Orion doing a good poke job right now onto Pantheon here in this mid lane, trying to back him off. Kha'Zix lying in wait can actually do a lot of burst damage, so if they could convert something land and alt, they probably could pick up a kill there. And it looks like we do have a pause, so Looks like there might be a player that is disconnected or having an issue right now. Overall, healthy CS leads and of course kill leads all over for Intel. Intel looking very strong here. 4K lead, a little bit over 4K lead at this point. And for anybody out there that is a, you know, I'm a little bit sad today. If you're a Broncos fan or possibly a Packers fan, I am a Seahawks fan, so you can feel sad. We can feel sad together. We can both wallow in misery. And if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan or anything like that, then I dislike you for now. I have a lot of mixed emotions. Lost a really close game today, so kind of bummed about that, but it's cool because I get to come here and I get to cast League of Legends. I'm going to be casting a bunch of games today, so if you want to tune back in and see more HGL action, I pretty much am casting a game on 3-hour intervals. So I believe I have Epic versus Ernst & Young at 6 p.m. and then at 9 p.m. I'm going to be casting another game. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I believe it's Rockstar and someone else. Looks like the teams are going to be ready, so we're going to start up here really quickly. And there we have it. I don't need to stare at this ward. We're all good. But you see Crystalline Flash, the sustain he gives right now, because he was pretty low. He possibly was in kill range. He still actually is, honestly, with a Kha'Zix. But Kha'Zix putting a lot of time there. So here we go. And that ball is really close. And then, oh, great flash. That is actually amazing reflexes right there by Pantheon. Props to him. That's a stellar play, just outplaying the ult from Orianna right there. Really, really solid play. And that's one thing. So the one thing to check when you are in mid lane is your opponent's reflexes. I mean, sometimes even if you know something shouldn't work, if someone plays ultimate, put a lot of burst damage on there, scaring them away, didn't have anything to follow it up. Ooh, had Ignite and Flash. It would have been close. Would have been close. I probably would have flashed, ignited, and thrown some auto attacks, but that's me. I might have ate a stun, though, and died to a turret, so who knows, but I probably would have went for it at this point, especially at this point in the game. But one thing I usually do if you're mid lane, or any kind of combo champion, usually it's mid lane because you're an AP champion, like a Viger, for example. You want to test your opponent's reflexes to see, hey, are they going to be able to defend against this? The classic one is, Viger versus Zillion. Oh, Grand Skyfall onto Orianna, underneath turret, gets sucked in and dunked by Joeys. And now we have a attack down bottom, bullet time, followed up by Sona's Crescendo. They can't quite track him down yet, and the spikes miss, and they're not going to be able to do it. Sona running for her life after eating that trap, taking a bunch of damage. And this is the trouble right now. Nami actually with that heal, turn around that huge range, actually giving a big advantage to Caitlyn there. She was very, very low, but she was able to turn around with that extra long attack range. Chase down Miss Fortune. Miss Fortune really couldn't do anything about it. And that is the power of Caitlyn. But I was saying, so test your opponent's reflexes, because sometimes, the classic Viger versus Zillion, you can go in there and you can just try to do your combos. Zillion has the tools to stop you. He can ult himself. A lot of players are lazy though. They don't use ult and cast on themselves, but Nami actually getting a pick off here at Miss Fortune. It's going to be very, very close. Pill Torpedo just barely misses. The flashes after. She is pretty vulnerable right here, but Kha'Zix doesn't feel he's strong enough to actually go in there and make something happen. So they're going to back off out of this. Like the aggression from Intel, not letting up at all. But a lot of players are lazy, so if they don't ult and click the spell, they might not actually put it, they might actually self-cast it on themselves quick enough, and you can actually pick up a kill, Viger versus Zillion. Even though Zillion has all the tools to make you look like a fool, when you try to use your ult on him and he actually just ults himself, comes back, and he's perfectly fine. So something to check right there. And so back here, it looks like Intel should have this dragon. Amazon's not really either unaware or unable to actually press this, and really I wouldn't expect them to come in on this. Aurelia coming down, but Darius shadowing her very, very closely. I like that play. and possibly looking to come in here for another kill. There's a good stun. Heartseeker strike, trying to get this out. Will he be able to pull him in? Yes, he will. Spins, and that is going to be all she wrote. Pantheon going in, picking up the kill, but really probably wasn't even needed. You would be surprised how much damage that passive from Darius deals. It does crazy damage, especially with 5 stacks, but there was no stacks on there. I don't think Oriana was living, but Pantheon, he wants those kills. He wants to stack it up. Right now, 8-0 for Intel. Intel looking very, very good here. And Amazon, I'd like to see him get on the board. They're falling quite far behind. Whenever you get to 15 minutes, the earlier it is in the game, typically like this, the more the gold lead matters. The farther you get, gold leads don't quite matter. So everybody gets up their items all set up and gets near their max builds, and also gets max levels. But the main problem really here, it's not just the gold deficit that we're seeing here from both teams. It's about the 7K difference of 15 minutes. It's really the levels. Like a level 11 Darius versus level 10. That's not so bad. Then we have 9 versus an 11. That's actually a big deal. Level 2 ult before you, and bottom lane is probably not too good either. 9 versus a level 8. So the level difference actually makes a big difference in a lot of these trades, because you become levels in the early part of the game are a lot better. They're not entirely better than items, but for the most part, it makes a huge difference to have an extra level and have an extra level of spell power or damage on one of your spells or abilities, and just the bonus stats you get from leveling up. Armor, magic resist, what have you, damage. So really, it's the levels as much as the gold. The items are going to matter as well, but they kind of compound on each other. In the early game, the levels make a huge difference. Darius at this point can probably go anywhere and kill anybody that he wants to if he's able to catch them and combo them. Really doing a good job of farming up there. She's been able to actually catch up to Darius and match him up 102, 100 to 108. She's actually not that far behind. Looking at bottom lane, though, that's a huge despair. Bottom and middle lane right now are in really dire straits. 131 to 89, plus you have a Pantheon that's got 3 kills on him. And bottom lane, you also have 2 kills and an assist versus just 2 deaths, plus the deficit. It's a lot of trouble. And you see a lot of Intel waiting the wings. They're probably going to take this mid turret, and then after they take this, we'll probably see them rotate top if they're able to do it. Amazon right now, if they want to try to defend this, they just need to put all their effort on clearing the waves, and there's actually bullet time's actually going to come out to clear the waves. Not a lot of clearing power at this stage in the game. They're just a little bit behind in items and damage. You see a lot of the items that are being built by the team are not really damage-centric. Misfortune has a Doran's dagger, and that's the only thing really giving her any damage. Heal coming in, just pretty much getting all that damage that Oriana was trying to put out at all. And Caitlyn's just going to get this all back right here. Looks like she should be going for a Bloodthirster shortly, although she's a little bit in between, but I'm guessing she's going to go Bloodthirster, then maybe roll that into Last Whisper just for giggles, but there's no real armor on the enemy team, so you wouldn't even have to do that at this point. She can really go anywhere she wants right now, just really, really far ahead, raw stats-wise. Looks like Oriana did pick up a Blasting Wand, so you can get a little AP in there, but really overall the team doesn't have a lot of anything. Aurelia has a Phage now, along with her Belt of Health, so Aurelia is actually not doing too bad at this point item-wise, but against a Darius, it's not a situation you want to be in. So there's the kill in mid turret, and sure enough, mentioned earlier, we're going to go to this top turret and clear it out. Open up the map for Intel so they can start just pressing all around. They do have a Ruby Sightstone, so they have a lot of free wards to put out. We see a lot of wards as you come up into Red's jungle. They actually don't have a lot of choices of anything to do here, and Aurelia actually can't defend this turret by herself. She's going to need a lot of support from her team. Looks like Red's going to push mid in the meantime to try to take this turret, while the rest of her team decides to defend top, and not a lot of pressure going on here. But I like this play from Aurelia. Aurelia's doing a good job for her team. Not quite wanting to commit, won't be able to get a kill, but the Grand Skyfall coming up top, it is going to land onto Aurelia. The stun coming off, rest of the team following in, Nami all coming in, and Aurelia's actually focused right onto Caitlyn and comes really, really close to being able to kill her, but not able to do it. Darius put it in that true damage to close it off, and Caitlyn should be fine here. And they should be able to kill this tower before it's able to deal significant damage. And nice little engage there from Intel. Trying to make something happen, but you saw the power of Aurelia. She was kind of behind, but she was able to stay even. She was still pretty relevant in that fight. Almost was able to take down Caitlyn, which is really, really big. Although the problem is Caitlyn's actually now built an Infinity Edge. Has that Vamp Scepter. Looks like that's what she said to go. Massive damage over the Bloodthirster starts we're seeing from a lot of players. Had a Bloodthirster there. Still would have survived, so I guess it doesn't matter at this point. And then we see the Black Cleaver Bloodthirster for Pantheon. That's a huge disparity. Two very strong AD items already finished for the mid lane. What we see Orianna really struggling to build a Rod of Ages as we get later in this game. 20-minute mark for hitting about here. For her to get up her Rod of Ages and try to get the stats and stacks from that become a little bit more tanky. She's really mana starved so far this game. Struggling a lot with that. And we see the flash. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the flash was necessary. Shyvana doesn't have a lot of really tough CC to actually have to deal with. As I look at it, she has a Phage. You know, if she procs the Phage with the double strike, maybe it gets slowed down. So just didn't really want to have to deal with that. Better safe than sorry. So that's a fine move. It's a fine flash. And that's an easy dragon. Kha'Zix's just staying high and should have got eaten by the Pantheon. But Pantheon's feeling pretty benevolent at this point. They have a 9-0 lead, 10k lead. And they're controlling the map, controlling all the objectives they want to right now. And Aurelia's in a lot of trouble behind enemy lines. Let's see what she decides to do to try to get out of this. Looks like she's going to loop back around. I like this. Noticed the minion paths, but she needed to keep running if she had any chance. And she's not going to be able to get out of this now. Dives towards and gets exhausted by Shyvana. Gets sucked back in now by Darius. And there's the stun underneath turret. And Aurelia's not making out of this. Dunk just for good measure. Not going to land. And Grand Skyfall in the middle. He wants to start another fight. He's like 1v4. Let's do this. I got this Nami ult coming in. It's going to pop up just Sona. Orianna's going to be absolutely shredded. And this is all sorts of trouble for Amazon. Amazon in full route pretty much right now. And it looks like they're pinging for Baron, and they can easily do this. It shouldn't be able to get stolen. Kha'Zix, if he really wanted to, could try to dive in and steal it. But I have a feeling that that's not going to work out. It's probably going to end up in a Baron buff and another death. 11-0. You know, if I'm Amazon right now at this point, honestly, I'm probably trying to just get like a morale kill. Like, they were able to at least kill a turret, so they didn't get shut out on turrets. They were able to take out mid turret in when they counter pushed versus when they were getting pushed top. So for me, I'd probably just be like, all right, guys, we just get a kill, pick a target, Nami, whoever, I don't care. Let's go in there, let's make something happen, get some kills, and feel better about ourselves at least a little bit. Kha'Zix's actually getting picked off up here in the top jungle. And really, as we look, this is the fun part. Look at Blue's vision over here. Look at all these wards and traps that they have all around Baron that they're completely set up. And Red's vision is this one ward over here at Red, this one ward over here, and they got a little bit of their jungle, but overall, like, their vision versus Blue teams is just day and night. So there's a little bit of dive on the Caitlyn, trying to get some damage in there, and a lot of focus on there is the ability for Darius just to absolutely dunk anyone, just completely 100-0 you. Had a little bit of support in there, but really not even necessary at this point. And the best part is, look at those huge damage items he has. Not really. He has a Phage, a Brutalizer, both still good. And while he just dives right underneath the turret, sucks him in, gonna be able to take out another champion. And really, Amazon's safe nowhere on this map right now. They're gonna be able to take out this turret, should be able to take out another turret after this. Kha'Zix's thinking about coming in here. And really for me, I'm thinking just to set up try to set up a kill here. Either go just dive straight for Caitlyn, maybe go for Nami at this point. Oh, Caitlyn, nice little net right there. Good reaction time, doesn't get equilibrium strike to get slowed or stunned. Intel just doing this systematically, rotating around, taking the next outer turret that they can. This is the safest turret for them to take. They have all their lanes pretty much pushing. Top lane's going to auto push for itself. Aurelia probably... she's getting some farm, but I probably wouldn't run up there. but gets a little bit of CS. It's safe because you know they're all bottom, but I'd probably group up with my team bottom. Because you know it's going to auto-push just based on this wave up here. You want to make sure as many lanes... If you're red team, you want to keep the lanes pushing away from your base, so it's a lot harder for them to come after you. But it's hard to do because at this point, none of these outer turrets are safe at all. Even their base turret might be a little bit questionable and suspect at this point. Baron buffed up, huge lead, 16k gold advantage at 24 minutes in. That's crazy, 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 crazy. We almost have multiple level 16 champions. Pantheon and Darius are very, very close. Once they have 16, they'll have max level ults. No one will be safe. But at this point, they're already very, very much... And I like Caitlyn's actually little trap setup right there, trying to protect her in case she does get dove. But you just see the disparity between the two teams at this point. Orianna trying to go in there and deal damage, literally just does nothing. Right now they're just throwing pebbles. Shyvana doing a good job there, trying to keep another lane pushing. They can't actually effectively slip pushes because they are so far ahead. They really just need to go in there and poke and poke and poke. That's all they have to do. Top lane auto pushing for them, which is nice, but there is still the outer turret up there, which is actually going to mitigate a lot of that the auto push, and it's going to start pushing back for the blue team very, very shortly. So there's a Grand Skyfall. Looks like they should back off out of this, and they will be able to back out of that. Actually zones them out, and if they focus on this turret real quick, they should be able to take that as well, but they're past the outer turret. If they really wanted to fight, they could defend it pretty well. They get sucked in, need to focus on the kill. Bullet time coming in really close to Caitlyn. Nami's ult coming in, trying to protect them, and now Darius is in the front line, and that is exactly who you don't want to see. Gets rid of Kozak as he tries to leap away. Second kill, triple kill coming in there. Where are we getting the Quadra? No, we're not. Pantheon's going to clean up, but it pretty much doesn't matter at this point. Good, nice try by Amazon to try to initiate something there. Orianna actually in a lot of trouble. Will they be able to pick up a kill? They will be able to pick up a dignity kill, 19-1. So Orianna is going to pick that up thanks to the help of her two turrets. Shooting their delicious, delicious cotton candy at Darius. It was too sweet for him. Diabetes has gotten the best of him this time, and he's going to be going down. So 19-1. They were able to pick up a kill. You got your turret. And now it's the swan song time because Intel pretty much has this wrapped up, ready to go. And all they need is one last push. I mean, there might be some dancing around another outer turret, but for the most part, I expect this game to pretty much be over. I actually saw the home guard boots from Orianna. I actually really like the home guard boots. It's so when you're at the fountain, you instantly heal up. There's no overtime. And then you also get a speed boost, which carries out to about the first or the second outer turret. Or the first outer turret, I guess. But not the one past your base turret. AKA this one. You actually have the speed boost about out to here. So if you get mobility boots in home guard, then you're super fast. But really, they're really effective for getting around your base, defending, and guarding your base with home guard. The reason I like them, though, is because as far as the tier 3 boots go, in case anybody's unfamiliar with... what are the best ones to buy? Captain obviously is really good. There's a lot of really good ones, but for the most part, home guard are the cheapest. They're only it's only like 400 gold, and you get that little ability, which is actually really effective for defending yourself if you're behind. And I actually really like it. It's usually what I will upgrade to, pending. And if you go back to your base, you can actually get out from your fountain really, really quickly. Get back to other lanes or objectives or whatever you want to do. For example, the tried and true. What used to happen in Season 2. So I remember in Season 2, when you would push a base, or you get in a big team fight, and you would win, and it'd be great, but everybody's low, so you have to go back to base. Uh-oh. A lot of home guard in here, so looks like Nami's going to try to lead this off. Sona, great counter all coming in there. Bolt time's going to do a little damage, but just doesn't quite have the items to really do a lot of massive damage. We're really trying to back off out of this. Really doesn't have a target anymore. A lot of her cooldowns are blown. She's going to have to wait for them to try to come back into this fight. Orianna getting focused down. Oh, it's not going to be able to do it. Shyvana is going to be able to escape out of this. Is not going to fall. And Intel should clean up. Kozak's the lone survivor, probably going to get dunked. Dunk incoming. Ooh. Nice little leap to save his life. Uh-oh, that's trouble. So anyways, remember in Season 2 when you get a big, huge fight and then you have to go back to your base and the other team would respawn and rush Baron? With Home Guard, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Home Guard, you basically just get to go, hey, let's blue pill back to our base, we'll be instantly healed, and we can run back out with a huge speed boost. They'll never be able to steal Baron from you. But congrats to Intel. Very, very solid game for them. 23-1. Huge score lead, 21k victory in the end. Very, 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 very nicely played from them. And honestly, the rumors are true. They probably are one of the best teams right now in the B League. Very, very strong. So congrats to them. And best of luck to Amazon in the future with your future games. I know they didn't have quite their starting lineup, but regardless, I think it would have been a handful for any team right now against this Intel team, which looks to be like they're rolling. So thank you for joining me in here.